As the referee blew the whistle to start the preseason game, everyone in the arena knew they were in for a treat. But little did they know that a rookie, Gary Payton, would dare to talk trash to the great Michael Jordan, and that this moment would set the stage for a thrilling showdown between the two players later in the regular season.
Hopper able to keep it alive.
The tension between them was palpable, and it was clear that both players were determined to prove themselves on the court. What followed was a series of events that would become one of the most memorable moments in NBA history.
Now Shrep guarding Hopper. The backdoor pass.
The air was thick with anticipation as the 1990-91 preseason game began. It was a rookie, Gary Payton, versus the legendary Michael Jordan. And Payton had no qualms about talking trash to the greatest player in the league.
Here's the double team on Shrep, and Payton fires, hits the three.
But little did he know that he was awakening a beast that would come back to haunt him later in the regular season. When the two teams met again, Jordan was on a mission to prove a point, and he did just that, annihilating Payton with a jaw-dropping 33-point performance.
In just under 5 minutes in this first quarter, Jordan gets inside.
It was a moment that would go down in NBA history, reminding us all that when you mess with the best, you better be ready to face the consequences. It was a crisp fall evening in 1990, and the tension in the air was palpable.
You can describe it now just playing so disciplined, so under control.
Jordan, the fadeaway.
The preseason game was just another stepping stone for most players, a chance to shake off the rust and get back into the groove before the real season started. But for rookie Gary Payton, this was his moment to shine. His chance to go up against the best in the game, Michael Jordan.
Is that man, Gary Payton, going to take Michael Jordan inside and not really happy with...
As Payton stepped onto the court, he could feel the electricity coursing through his veins. This was his first meeting with Air Jordan, and he was determined to make a statement.
And it's amazing how much information Matt can pick up on those elevators. Payton with the steal and puts it down. And then
he knew that most star players wouldn't go all out in a meaningless preseason game, but he didn't care. He was here to prove himself, to show everyone that he was the real deal. As the game got underway, Payton was in the zone. He was scoring at will, and even though MJ was sitting on the bench, Payton could feel his presence looming over the court.
Crazy out there. I want you to be yourself. I want to see some arrogance. I want to see the Gary Payton that helped lead us to 64 wins. And there's a little bit of it right there, and you have to...
He knew that Jordan was watching him, sizing him up, and he was determined not to let him down. As the game wore on, Payton's confidence grew. He was talking trash to B.J. Armstrong, staring down his opponents, and running by the Bulls bench, taunting Jordan.
And the game is tied at 39.
In his mind, he was the king of the court, and nothing could stop him. It wasn't until after the game that Payton realized his mistake. He had been so focused on proving himself that he hadn't realized that Jordan wasn't playing at his full capacity.
But Phil indicating play through it. Short
But even though he'd been fooled, Payton didn't care. He had shown the world that he had what it takes to go up against the best, and he knew that he was destined for greatness. When it came to Michael Jordan, players knew better than to mess with the legend, and he was the GOAT for a reason, and his reputation preceded him.
As Kemp started to accelerate, offensive foul on Jordan. You can see Pippen.
It was almost as if a hush fell over the court when he stepped onto it, and even his opponents knew to keep their distance. But then there was Gary Payton. Fearless and bold, he refused to be intimidated by Jordan's aura of invincibility.
And Jordan for three.
In the 1996 NBA Finals, Payton found himself face-to-face with the basketball icon, and instead of shrinking back, he stood his ground. Payton also famously said how once he switched on to Jordan in Game 4 of the Finals, he held Jordan in check.
And once again, this is where it started. Michael and David Wingate going at it underneath the boards, and he was very upset.
The facts back this up, as Jordan averaged 31 points per game on 46% shooting in the first 3 games when Payton was not the primary defender on MJ. In the last 3 games, where Payton guarded Jordan, MJ's average has dropped to 23.7 points per game on 36.7% shooting.
Shrimp off of Jordan has freed up his mind to concentrate on offense. Jordan over Hawkins.
That's over 7 points less per game scoring while shooting about 10% less when Payton was not MJ's primary defender. Jordan knew that he had to put this young upstart in his place. As the game began, Payton was determined to show Jordan that he was not intimidated.
And Payton in the backcourt with Shrimp, Kent, and Johnson on the front line. And Jordan all over Hawkins.
He played with fire in his belly, making bold moves and scoring points with ease. But Jordan was watching and waiting for his moment. Finally, in the fourth quarter with the score tied, Jordan got the ball. He looked Payton in the eyes, knowing that this was the moment he'd been waiting for. With a series of quick moves, he left Payton in the dust and scored the game-winning basket.
Perkins, air ball. Here comes Jordan.
Payton was left stunned and humbled. He had underestimated the skill and determination of Michael Jordan, and he knew that he still had a lot to learn. But he also knew that he would never back down from a challenge, and that he would always strive to be the best, just like Jordan.
Thought he was fouled. Shrimp with a bad pass, and here's
It was a game that would go down in history, the night that Jordan showed the world what he was truly capable of. Payton had given him a run for his money in the preseason, but Jordan was not about to let that happen again. As the game wore on, Jordan's confidence grew. He was making shot after shot, stealing the ball from Payton and leaving him in the dust. It was a masterclass in basketball, a display of skill and determination that few had ever seen before.
wants a timeout.
And when it was all said and done, Jordan had scored 33 points on 13-20 shooting with 7 steals to boot. The Bulls had won 116-95, and it was clear that they were a team to be reckoned with.
Gary Payton cuts it to a 6-point Bulls lead.
And that, my friends, is the story of how a rookie Gary Payton learned a valuable lesson about trash-talking one of the greatest basketball players of all time. Michael Jordan, a man known for his fierce competitiveness, never forgot the slight he felt during that preseason game.
For time. Askew tried to knock it aside. Jordan, very upset. He thought he was fouled.
And when time came for the two to meet again in the regular season, Jordan seized the opportunity to show Payton who was the real king of the court. But perhaps what's even more remarkable about this story is how it highlights the enduring legacy of Jordan's greatness.